Blessings, family. Coming back on with another video. I want to give honor and glory to the Almighty, unto Yeshua and unto the Ruach, the Holy Spirit. Blessings, family, to all those on the forefront sharing this truth, this great news. Earlier, I did a rebuttal against Mr. Brown, who's actually been, went face to face with a camp recently. And I made as far as put a comment under a video, and also doing a rebuttal against Vocab Malone. I've actually, I've placed under comments under his videos before saying, just wasting your time if you just take the time to seek the Most High for truth and understanding who we are. That will save them, him and ones like him a lot of time. But that's not what it's about. It's deeper than that. They are on the forefront. They're, just well to say agents. They're to stir up the pot. And so much, in so many ways, they don't even realize that they're helping our people to wake up as well, because a lot of our people who are Israelites who still somewhat sleep is, following them. So we don't know and understand all of how the Almighty is doing things. We only can see what we see, but we do know that the Almighty, He has it all in control. So I'm bringing your attention to this picture because part of the video is going to be about spacecraft. Ones we'll call UFOs, and which is unidentified objects, and ones we'll call IFOs, because from the Bible, and knowing, when it comes to which one we'll call a spacecraft, when it comes to the chariots, we understand that, reading and from studying. I don't know a whole lot about it, but over in past, months, I've been able to understand a little bit more about it. So a lot of my brothers are very studied on it. So I just wanted to bring this to attention to you right here, and then I'll come back after I show some clippings from some other videos. So bear with me one moment. So this is Vocab Malone's page, and he was just with GMS on, I said yesterday, and he was with actually one body on the week before, and then he also went to IUICU, and he's making his rounds to a lot of our Israelites brothers who out there on the forefront, and they actually holding their grounds, and they're letting them hold it. They're putting forth what the Bible says, and this is the part that get them from what I see. Vocab and all his minions, what gets them is that they're coming from, our people coming from scriptures, but they're coming from a way to try to debunk what the scripture says. Because see, they're looking for salvation. They're trying to understand, how could a Gentile fit in this whole big Bible that was written about the Israelites, to the Israelites, for the Israelites, and by Israelites. They failed to realize that Satan deceived the whole world by having ones to think that everyone is included as in equalness for what we will call heaven. By salvation, understanding that salvation, by saying I'm saved now, you can't be saved now. Yeshua said those who endure till the end is saved. But we got to understand who Yeshua is coming back for, and what this about of us being regathered, about us being redeemed and saved from what these wicked, crooked, demonic folks going to try to do to us in these last days. So you have ones that he may be paid by, top elites to go out on the forefront, because, how could you just pop up in whatever city and take your posses with you, your minions with you, and you video, and then it just is it a way for them to get all these little these clippings, and he present to his whoever he's presenting to, for them to try to have leverage on our people. But they fail to realize we're dealing with the Most High. Our Almighty is the Most High. And you're going to see a little bit at the end of this that I'll show you a clipping of that as well. So I'm going to show you a little bit of actual here. I'll start off with
at Drive Time, you can save money on your down payment. $1,000 on average.
One body.
And we'll show you your real down payment.
So, let's check this out a little bit.
Kadash is a fake Hebrew dialect that no one ever heard before the 20th century. I want to ask, one body in Yahushai, why have you abandoned real Hebrew? I said, what's that? He said, this is the true language of your forefathers. That's one version. Name Yahushai employs. What do we do with this? Instructs Lashawan Kadash because it shows us, why did he say Eli Eli? That's a question you would say, my God is. Why instead does he convey?
You all, I thought so. He was
anything.
This is him talking to them now. He's trying to make it seem like it failed. They let him hold it.
The name of your church. Look, it's the name of your church.
So what are we supposed to go? One body in Jesus, so it'll make you feel good?
Oh no, just so you can be grammatically correct.
That is not correct.
The rest of it's English.
See,
that's
not
all he can
correct.
come
We
with
know
nonsense.
So what's
So
the
how are we
evidence for
going to teach our
Yahushai?
peoples?
I got you. What's the evidence Yahushai is really?
What do that got to do with anything,
It's
Vocab?
the name of your church.
See, I know how y'all devils come up here, man.
So we're gonna pause that there, and I'll take you back out. Let's go to I think IU
Might become as I am. What did Agrippa say Paul was? A
IC
Christian.
didn't have
Read the
much to
prior
say to
verse.
them. They just
Except-
videotape it. They probably made a
Sir,
rebuttal
and stuff like that. This is what they said last night.
online.
They said Paul was
And anyway,
day. Now,
they're
you
not saying
gentlemen
nothing
know
to him.
that everybody in
They're
that
just
room
watching
with
him.
Agrippa,
And he
especially
wanted to
considering
talk
we know
about
Festus is in the room.
Agrippa
Those
and
are not all Jews.
understand how
Those
that
are not
all
all
coming
Israelites. Those
together.
are not Hebrew men and women. Why does he say, I would have you all to become a Christian like I am? And here's the kicker. Not only you, but all who listen to me
This
today
craziness.
might
We're gonna
become
pause
as I
that.
am.
So they made a rebuttal online. They just let him just say what he had to say. But you're reading and understanding about that and how one can have a conversation. You have to understand Paul. I didn't understand him at one point. I was like, oh, he is just placed here to trip us up. But really, Paul quotes a lot from the Old Testament. And one of my sisters sent me a video, and that just like opened up for me because I was seeking, trying to understand. So I suggest you do that, Vocab, because you lost. Okay, let's go to what today, I think yesterday they were
Rolling the
with
camera,
this.
homie? Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
my man is only.
So
God, the Lord will hasten it in His time.
So let me go up a little bit further here because they're telling them, because what I would have did, I would just block them out. All my men would have came in front of them. They would have had to get in them trees back there, them bushes, to say something, to try to say something to me. Get in that. That's what they would go. But I would have just had all of them blocked out. They would have either been on the street or either behind in those bushes right there. Y'all see them bushes right there? That's where they would have been. They wouldn't have been able to get nowhere near me or within my camera range.
Now the Most High set up Paul to go among those Gentiles to wake them back up.
So they're there trying to intimidate, and they're trying to make it seem like, and he's traveling. I don't know how far in distance where he's going, but it's just really crazy. All they have to do is just ask the Almighty, who is these people? Why are they saying that they are? They already know people from the Limber tribe already. The Israel. They claimed the Limber tribe. They claimed the Ethiopians. Well, then how did they become Ethiopians? Because that's one of the places Father said he's going to, actually regather them back from Cush. And so but not, I would say, all Ethiopians. And one way that happened was with Sheba, Queen Sheba said she had a son by King Solomon. So could that be how the Ethiopians? We know they're Hamites, right? But some of our people are there. Okay, so this so-called black guy with the burgundy hat, he just is lost. He's a coon. He's a sellout. It's another one, and they don't know who that they're Israelites. But hey, I can't make a call. But I tell you what, they don't want to be a part of that 2/3, and they ain't gonna make it. Okay, and instead of they trying to understand who we are, they trying to go up against, you know.
But the psalm he quoted, I just want clarification because it says that he gave his precepts to Jacob, right?
That's what it is. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but this GMS and here it goes, vocab there again, trying to be in the forefront. So I'm going to show you. They end up being out there for hours with them because it got dark. So I'm going to take you to the video where it actually going to show you later that night what happened with my father, where, you know, I truly believe that this was a moment, and they was here. I don't know where he went. I'm going to switch and they don't even have a clue. So this is coming from that same yesterday, following still them trying to get some type of wording. And I want to say this. Okay, so let's just look at the video, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. I might have to turn it sideways, but anyway,
was here. I don't know where he went. I'm gonna switch like this here. Okay. You got anything that you want to say to my audience? Nothing. Okay. So all I'm gonna say is, what about Lucifer? So what about Lucifer? You said that Lucifer. You said that the white man was Lucifer, and then you turned
look in the background. You see that?
And you said that Jesus was
Lucifer. That's actual IFO right there. In the background.
Lucifer and Lucifer being a bad person. How would they said that? I never said that. Yes, you did. You said the white man was Lucifer. You said the most high is Lucifer.
Look at that. Second, know how our people gonna start cutting. They know what. Our people know what time it is. Listen to this guy. He don't have a clue. So they praising. But he don't even have a clue.
Those ain't UFOs.
He don't even have a clue.
What is that?
Look at that. He's talking about what is that?
Yeah, I can see them.
So-called black man, an Israelite, don't even know he's a sellout, and he don't even know what that is. He ain't even reading his Bible. Look at that, how they know. Look at them. Our prophets and ones, they're out there. The Almighty using them. Instead of these which Americans and all get their judgment, understand that judgment is coming. You know, they want to downplay it and make it seem like, you know, our brothers against them, or we against them, and we can't be who we are. It just really is sad. But, you know, what can you say? So you got this happening in GMS. It many times in where it showed up behind them, why they out there on the streets, you know, teaching, and like 2 or 3 UFOs will be, you know, IFOs will be behind them. So you don't understand what that is, because you don't understand that's, you know, saying that's a chariot. And this guy, he's trying to interview, you know, one of the head, I guess the person, you know, chief of the GMS out of New York, and he's like, well, who is that? What is that? He don't even know. He have no clue. It's not being taught in no churches. It's not being taught, you know, like the news and everybody want us to be afraid. But so-called, they the only one getting abducted. So they say by aliens, little short people with beady eyes. For real though? You better wake up. better understand what's going on. Let me show you some more pictures here. So now I'm taking you back to the picture. So this is just, I know this showing that it's painted with white. You know, this is supposed to be Mary over here. And you see the IFO, the spacecraft, the chariot is above with the light coming through. So this was back in 1400s when someone painted this. You know, saying that this Mary, and then, you know, we'll say, well, Yeshua, and I'll show you another picture soon. But that tells you that these people know what time it is. They want us to be afraid of whatever's dealing with the spacecraft, what they call UFOs, is dealing with our people. Because this is actually shouldn't be a white person, but that's what they made it to be, because they made Christ white, right? So let's go to another picture. Right here, another picture. This is supposed to be John the Baptist baptizing Yeshua. Look what's at the top of up there. That's a spacecraft, a IFO, UFO that they call it, with the lights beaming down. When you read about Ezekiel, when you read about Enoch, when you go all and you see how Yeshua got taken up, you see and heard how you know, the different prophets, John and all of them got taken up. This ain't no joke. But they want us to be afraid. Okay, right here is on the wall of Egypt to tell you that this is way before our time. The Almighty already knew what was going to happen in our time. And if you take your attention to, this was actually on the wall in Egypt. And it's the flying. It's actually flying. It has a helicopter. Okay, it has a UFO, what you would call a UFO, a IFO, a spacecraft. And it has a submarine. All of this is on this picture in Egypt. Way before they even knew that it was going to really exist. But, you know, men want us to be afraid of what? When the Almighty is our, you know, have the angels camp around us and protecting us. Want us to be afraid of who? And where? I know, as you know, Israelites waking up and coming into this truth, you may not understand, because I don't understand a whole lot of it. But since I started, you know, studying, and then, you know, have listened to videos, I'm seeing with my own eyes in the sky. Yesterday, I got, you know, closing up my Sabbath day, and right outside of my, you know, window, which I will look out and see right by the moon. Here I go. I see one going right on by. And I went outside actually to look at it, and it got further in the distance. One day I'm sitting in my house, and out of the sky just popped up a IFO. And then, you know, just in the skies, there's just sitting there. Hey, they've been there. So for those who actually not understanding, to seek the Almighty, because he's going to deal with us in measures that where we wake up and we get to understand. So when they're talking about, you know, oh, we should be afraid of it, you need to understand what this is all about. It's in the Bible. It's documented about going up into a cloud, about the cloud opening, and how they picture it, trying to say Yeshua's coming back, or he's coming back, you know, on horses in the cloud. That's the way I visualize it, until I understand it better now. He's coming back in the chariot and his angels. Hello, somebody. And it's already been on the wall in Egypt, way back, ancient time, on things that are we actually looking at right now. You can look this up if it's not a good picture. I was trying to get a good picture, but just understand, family. Know these ones that coming forth, either, you know, whether they be agents or whether they be helping, don't even know they're helping, you know. Make sure you cover with the Almighty Ruach, the blood over you, guiding you, your footsteps day by day. And what's make it, you know, so interesting is that when the ones who claim who they are, Jewish or whatnot, they want to come forth and say what we're not, but they don't know their top officials know who we are. Their elites know who we are. And some of them have even admitted that we are the true people. But then they want to play dumbfounded because they all in their feelings. See, their feelings get hurt because they're trying to understand this. The Bible is real for one, but they've been being guided by the Bible all this time. And then all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. Yeah, because it's not open up to you. You can't see, you can't go deep within it really because it's not opening up to you because the Almighty choose to open it up to who he choose to open up to. And you have to come with a diligently, and you have to come with a sincere heart. See, those out there who's trying to understand this from looking from the outside in, they're coming from a wicked place. They're not trying to say, well, let it be what it is because what choice I got? No, they're going to try to fight it. Because in the end, the ones who rule this earth, they're going to try to fight the Most High. They're going to try to go up against us to stay in power. They ain't got no call. The might is going to be taken out of their hands and it's going to shift to ours. They ain't got no say over that. We didn't have no say when the might was taken out. You imagine that our people saw when they whitewashed all those kings and queens and prince and princesses pictures. They were living in that time and they might try to kill a lot of people off so they wouldn't see it because they know it dies after a generation or a generation and a half is gone. So imagine that. They were people who have dead and gone. King Stuart, James, which we call King James of the Bible, who created, inspired to have the Bible printed and whatnot and put forth. He's painted as a white man. Even Josephus painted as a white man. Oh, really? The queens, Anne and all painted white. And what they're trying to say, oh, well, when the truth come out, well, we inherit lies, but at the end of the day is that but in that time, people were living that knew the truth and they're like, they ain't had no powers to reverse it because Father took the powers out of their hands and shifted over to them. Remember, and just keep in mind, they were the minority, still is to this day, still the minority. But they were in minority. Ain't nothing but the so-called blacks was ruling this whole earth. Their Father flipped it and gave it the power to them. That which would make us who? Jealous. Right? And now he's going to come back and take the power and then their race of people going to die out. Which they are. Look at the statistics. They don't have no call. Father do what he want to do. They try to tell us that in America, oh, well, the so-called black women not reproducing. We connected with the continent of Africa where they got like 7.1 per child. 7.1 instead of having, which is needing to be a 2.1, per woman, I'm sorry, for fertility. They're up in the sevens. We connected back on the continent of Africa. But who they connected with? Europe, where they trying to pay people to have kids. Give them cars, give them land, give them house. I'm not trying to, dab nobody and try to make you feel bad, but let's look at what's real. Time is up. Instead, you embrace it and cry for mercy and seek the Almighty for that he may spare you and your lineage, your seed line. No, you want to be out here in the street cutting up and trying to figure things out and try to make things worse for the Israelites. Or try to be in cahoots and be a part of this confederacy, with whomever trying to want to stay in power. Well, it ain't your call. It wasn't our call. So as it flips, as it will, it ain't no say so by neither me or you. Embrace it. Ask the Almighty to help you to deal with it. Because that's what you need. If not, then, hey, you're going to be every day trying to figure this out. YouTube, how many people, so-called whites, Caucasian, who said that they didn't believe who we were, but now they making videos about it. Google it's right on YouTube. Go have the real talk with the ones in Israel in places and say, well, is this true? They'll tell you. You might not want to come back and admit, or you might already know and just want to be, act like you don't have the information. You might just want to be ignorant to the fact. But it's okay. My Father's watching. He knows all things. I'm a witness. I know him from a spiritual side since I was 8 years old. And I'm learning him through through his scriptures, through his words. And I'm 53 years old. So this has been from 8 years old to now, my life has been fulfilled with my Father, which art in heaven, the Most High Yah. So I just say to all, if you are an Israelite and you're not waking up because you just not getting this, not understanding this, you and your feelings, get out of your feelings. If you are a non-Israelite and you don't want to own up to this or understand this because you and your feelings, get out of your feelings. It's going to happen. Whether it be in your lifetime or your child's lifetime, it's going to happen. We don't have no say-so. All right, family. Blessings to each one of you. Shalom.